Well, football can be a very, very cruel game. Zimbabwe losing with the very last kick of the match to Senegal at the 2021 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations. This is your #1 fan forum where we can talk all about the game. Tell us what you thought if you were watching, and we will discuss the highs and lows as we were so close to getting a fabulous draw against Senegal. There's still hope that we can make it through to the knockout stage, but we were so close. The first half where there were very few chances and we were on the back foot, but the Warriors grew into the match in the second half and started playing with confidence. Teenage Hadebe could have won it with 5 minutes to go with a shot right in front of goal, and then deep into stoppage time, the 4th minute of stoppage time, a handball, and Sadio Mane was given the penalty to take by Senegal and put it past Petros Mari. Tell us what you think about the game. Post your comments here. This coverage brought to you by Total Energies and with Howard Musanza. Also with Dixon Choto and Joel Lupatla, who both played at the 2004 Africa Cup of Nations finals for the Warriors. Let's start with you, Joel. Just feeling gutted, huh?
Football is cruel. I think the boys did well today. They made us proud. We have lost, which is sad. We have lost 3 points, but I think the players and the technical team, they will take this performance into the next game, because if we don't rise up from this loss, we are not going to make it in the next game. So I think the boys and the coaches should take pride in what they did today. Unfortunately, that penalty happened in the last kick of the match. But generally, as a team, I think the players grow in the confidence. We were saying that in the first half they were losing a lot of possession. That made our football to be like a start-stop situation. But second half, I felt that they grow in confidence, and we could have scored a goal with that chance that we missed. But taking a point would have made us better getting into the next game. But it's football, it's cruel like that.
Ish, it hurts, and a draw can't be called a surprise, but it kind of would have been a surprise draw if we'd held Senegal to a 0-0 scoreline. Give us your thoughts here. We've got giveaways from Total Energies as well on this, your #1 fan forum when it comes to Zimbabwe at the 2021 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations. Speaking as a former defender for the Warriors, Dixon, concentration deep in stoppage time, maybe that's what cost us.
Yeah, I think the last minute of the game, that is the most important minute of the match, because most of the players, some of them will be tired, so mentally they will lose concentration, and unfortunately Senegal got a penalty, and then we lost a match, which I thought the boys did well in the second half. Also, I agree with Joe that second half the boys did well, and also like everyone, I thought we were getting a point from this match, which will help us to the next match. But the boys did well.
Petros Mari made 2 big saves for the Warriors during the game, but a penalty taken by Sadio Mane. That's going to be tough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, so tell us what you think. Howard, are you able to speak? How are you feeling?
I was about to say, is it okay for me not to? Because I'm gutted, At the end of the day, you look at how the Warriors played today, like true Warriors, because no one was giving Zimbabwe a chance against a top-ranked team in Africa like Senegal. They've got all the top players within their ranks, players like Sadio Mane, Of course, there were some players that tested positive for COVID, but any day, any player that comes through for Senegal is still very, very dangerous, if I may use that. And, you know, getting to go down through a penalty, yeah, it's a difficult pill to swallow. But look, we were talking about the Predict and Win competition that we are running here on the Total Energies page. And I think the key thing, go on, like the page, and you'll be surprised. Maybe someone is going to win, because every time Zimbabwe when we play, we're going to give away 3 DSTV subscriptions. So yeah, too bad, Steve, you can't enter the competition.
Ish, okay, well, we want to hear what you thought about this. Shadi Dalolo Kutsanzira says, sad to lose after such a spirited performance. Concentration cost us. Bravo to the boys, a lot of positives. Definitely, because we were so close to getting a draw against Senegal. And also Jocelyn Kwendambairi says, well done, boys. Simbarashe Rekerui says, ish, so cruel, but our defender should have known better as he committed. That's Kelvin Madzongwe. Can we blame him? Senegal were going for it in stoppage time, knowing that they had a chance against Dixon. Can we blame Kelvin Madzongwe, who otherwise had been one of our best players?
Yeah, that's true. And also what happened to Kelvin, it could have happened to anybody, because he tried to block that shot. Was I think it was the last kick of the match. So I think as a defender, you try to do everything you can, so that you can defend that ball.
Yeah, Herbert Spencer says, well done to the Warriors. Tabby Napata says, well done, boys. You really did well there. Ernest Manande, yes, you're saying how we're all feeling. Ernest saying, I'm gutted to the core. Bigger picture, though, is that we want to get through to the knockout stage for the first time, to the round of 16. 4 points will definitely do it. 3 even, maybe. Next game against Guinea, Howard, I think we can go into that with confidence, because Guinea's preparations not so good. We can fancy our chances, I would reckon.
Definitely. Look, when we saw that draw, I think all eyes were on Senegal, and because of their stature in African football. And the Guineas of this world, the Malawis of this world, I don't think the Warriors will have problems with teams like that. However, you know, such a performance from today, it's very difficult to replicate again. Yeah, maybe you look at Madzongwe, yes, we are gutted, but let's look at the players. How are they feeling after such a gallant performance? So it depends with how Mapeza is going to psych up the players going into that game, and if we can replicate that game. But maybe if we can hear from the coach, because Joe is a coach. I've seen you with Golden Eagles, and you look at a scenario like today. How do you pick up the players from such a morose-sipping loss? How do you do it? What do you tell the players?
No, I think what's important is to, you know, let them feel big about today. You know, I feel like the boys did everything they could have done. So in the dressing room, you only talk about positives that happened. You know, the handball, that's a negative issue that we don't even, you know, talk about it at the dressing room. We talk about the positives that they did. We stood tall, we stood toe to toe with the giant. And the next game, remember, there's no money who's going to be playing in the next game. So we just need to make sure that from here, we don't look down. You know, we just take only the positives. The negatives, they are for the coach to, you know, to go and work on them and make sure that when they go into the training in the next game, they are preparing to win. So we only take the positives from this match, because if we are going to talk about the negatives, you're supposed to do this and that, you know, you are just reminding them of what they did, because I believe that the boys left blood and sweat on the pitch. So we only talk about the positives. The negatives, we will discuss them as the technical team. I think we should have done this and that. But within the players, we don't even mention that. We only talk about the positives and make sure that we move forward.
All right, we need to move forward. Hopefully the next game against Malawi will come right. You're watching our post-match analysis brought to you by our partners at Total Energies. And we'll be doing this every time the Warriors play. We'll give you a pre-match analysis, then we also give you post-match analysis. But like Steve was saying, This is a fan zone. We talk about everything and anything. Look, we've got our own teams. I had my preferred team today. And obviously, in my mind right now, I'm looking at the players and how they performed. And when we come back, we'll then look at probably each player, how they performed today, and look ahead to the next game. You're watching our post-match analysis brought to you by Total Energies.
Total Energies presents the African Football Fans Jersey. Visit our service stations or our social networks to find out more.
You're watching our post-match analysis here on the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations 2021 happening in Cameroon. And what we're simply doing here is just have fun and talk about the matches, what do you expect, and well, give you a round off of the things that will have happened. And today, with that match between Zimbabwe and Senegal, and the Warriors of Zimbabwe going down by 1-0. And in the studio, we're joined by two former Warriors players, Joe Lupahla and Dixon Choto. So it's me and Steve. Steve, I don't feel good right now. I don't. Look, I was looking at how Petros Mari was doing his stuff between the posts. Look, top player and top performance from him. You go on to the players, and I had already put down my ratings from the goalkeeper up to the very last player, you know, in our attack, and they were really good. I'm not going to change anything, but I'm sure we'll hear from Joe and Dixon what marks they will give to those players. But I want to ask you, who do you think was our best player today?
I would have said Kelvin Madzongwe. He was playing really well, only to concede that penalty with a handball in the dying seconds of the game. But I thought he did extremely well for us. Ismail Wadi was quite combative as well. As Joel said, playing in his style, kind of. He was quite pacey, so he impressed me. Petros Mari with those two saves as well. An important contribution from him. So, and Onismo Basera, slower, I guess, but you can't fault him for his commitment to the Warriors. I thought he did really, really well. Let's get a few more fan comments. Eddie Jange says we need to play in the forward more, but generally well played, boys. Thaddeus Chinoto says let's not underrate our opponents, guys. Maximum effort is still needed. DJ Blaze Zim says heartbreaking. Indeed it is, as we conceded. The very last kick of the match was the Sadio Mane penalty. Trish T. Ridgewell saying they worked hard. Warren Wadau says a solid game from the team, to be honest, against top opponents. And Farai Muchikasera says, go Warriors, we still celebrate a gallant fight. Juliet Chipari saying they played very well. MC Malue saying a well-played boys as well. So Terry Wanganui saying we need better strikers. And well, Tino Kadewere came on after the break, Joel, but we didn't really have much to offer up front. Indeed, the best chance came on 85 minutes when Knowledge Musona took a free kick just down the right side of the box from an acute angle, put it over to Teenage Hadebe, the centre-back, in the 6-yard box, but he didn't quite connect with it. That actually could have been the smash and grab that you were predicting and that we were starting to believe in.
Yeah, I think the formation that we played today, we played in a 1-4-1-1 with the captain playing behind Prince. But the way he was dropping too deep to come and collect, you know, the football, it exposed Prince into a one lone striker, and also the two guys that were playing on the wings. We had Bruce Kangwa. We all know that he's a defender. He prefers to play as a left back, but he was played up front, you know, maybe to try and combat more, you know, so that Senegal doesn't have too much room to play. And it felt like we had only two attackers that we had, which is Prince Dube and Ismail Wadi. And, you know, with two attackers, it becomes difficult to do any meaningful attacks. So with time, I think we grow into believing that we can do this. And I think Tino, yeah, he didn't get any chances, but once he got in, I thought those defenders were now, you know, put under pressure. He was doing everything, was chasing a lot, but the support still didn't come because our captain was going too deep into midfield.
Yeah. Before we get those player ratings from Howard, you can win here on this programme brought to you by Total Energies. We have DSTV subscription winners, 3 of them. Lots of prizes every time we do this here on ZTN. Well done to Ellen Tito, to Joe Masuka and to Simbisa Ignatius Kunaka. You have won DSTV subscriptions. Your winners here on this show brought to you by Total Energies.
Yeah, Stephen, it's not only the DSTV subscription. There are loads of prizes again. There's some soccer balls that the fans can win, and also official fan jerseys inscribed Total Energies. So yeah, there's plenty of things that you can get, and just make sure whenever Zimbabwe are playing, we are running this predict and win competition. But I would want to hear from Dixon. You played as a defender for top clubs. You played in the UEFA Champions League as well. From what you saw today from our defenders, could we have done better? Because there were times that we saw they were giving too much room to the Senegal attackers, and they were making forays in that defensive third of ours.
Yeah, I think it's the defenders, they did well, but there was some moments when I thought, you know, there was a big gap between Gerald and Teenage, which could have harmed us if they utilized, you know, that space. Because most of the time when Gerald got the ball, he was pushing to the right side. So I think they need to just correct there. But personally, I think they did well.
I was also looking at that, and maybe going forward, Joe, we started with Kundai Benyu, and I thought he was supposed to be playing box to box, because you had Kelvin Madzongwe sticking in front of the centre halves, and in that role, how did Kundai do the box to box role?
I think it was always going to be a tall order for the young man. I think it was his first game for the national team. The expectations of the nation, they are always high, and I don't want to take anything away from him. I think he did what he had to do, but going into the next game, I'll prefer maybe to play with Tikere there, because Coach Norman knows Tikere. He has coached him at Platinum. He knows what he can do. And also, this is a tournament. You know, a tournament, you need to have a specialist, a free kick specialist. And I think this guy, with the free kicks that we had, there was a moment in the first half where I thought if Tikere was playing, he was going to tuck that free kick away. So going into the next game, as a coach, you know, I'll sit and look at the opportunities that we had on set pieces, and we didn't utilize them. And he's not only a specialist on set pieces, he's a good footballer, and he's a box-to-box footballer. Going into the next game, maybe I'll give him, you know, a run there.
Just on that issue of set pieces, because I was looking at Knowledge Msona.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time we would believe whenever we got a set piece. Yeah. Remember when he was playing for Cas Eupen in Belgium, exactly. Even there, whenever they got set pieces, they would start counting that, okay, so this is and there was one game that he actually scored 2 goals from set pieces. What's going on?
I think for the set piece that we got in the first half, he changed his technique. He's got his own way of taking free kicks, and that was not the way he executes them. He just changed his technique. I think maybe he saw that there was space, the goalkeeper had left space, but if he just taken or just used his same technique that he has been using, I think we could have scored that goal.
Maybe coming back to the issue of the player ratings. I'm sure I'm just going to go through Petros Murray. For me, well, let's not look at that penalty and all. Petros, for me, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because he gave his all, and
8 also.
8 also, and the way he was just commanding that back line, that's what you need from a goalkeeper. You go to Takudzwa Chimwemwe, you know, small in stature, but he didn't even get overruled by the occasion. Yeah. We saw him making forays up front, you know, coming deep to defend. I gave him a 7.5 out of 10. You look at Basera, yes, getting to 36 now, a bit slow, but on that left channel, defending, he was there. Yeah. Though I would have wanted to see more going forward, because that was not really there. Basera, I gave him a 7. Teenage Hadebe, in that heart of defense, for me, he did well. Because most of the time, like what we heard from Babashonier, there was too much a gap between them. They were far flung from each other. But in terms of understanding the game and shutting down, you know, those attackers from Senegal, I gave him a 7 because he was always there. And Takwara, he was always working as a sweeper. You know, everything that came in the air, the Senegalese are tall, but you find Takwara was first to the ball. And for that, I gave him an 8. Kelvin Madzongwe, minus that bump at the end. Look, he played so well, sticking in front of these 2 centre halves. I gave him a 7. Ismail Wadi, though I would have really wanted to see more from him. But in terms of taking on the opposition, he's one player who was very confident to take on the opposition. And I gave him a 7. Knowledge Msena, I despite the free kicks and all that, I love his energy. Because he was always where the ball was. Coming in deep to defend, aiding in attack. I also gave him a 7. Prince Dube, I would have loved to see much from him. He didn't really get enough ball. And for that, I'll give him a 6. Kundai Benyu was not really impressed. He was supposed to be the driving force behind the team. In terms of creativity going forward, he was supposed to be the man. And for me, Kundai, very disappointing for me. I gave him a 5. Bruce Kangwa was surprised, you know, in an advanced role. And he was not intimidated by the Senegalese. I gave him a 7. Tino, I can't really rate him coming in, as well as Kamusoko coming in. For me, I didn't really rate those players.
Yeah, Bruce Kangwa did a lot of running, especially in the first half. Remember, this is a star-studded Senegal team. Players from Villarreal, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and we came so close to holding them to a goalless draw. Now, we'd love to hear your views here. This post-match analysis brought to you by Total Energies. Tanaka Siwawa says, Tobata ma calculator here, Kusene Kuno. Of course we will. That's part of being a Warriors fan, that we get the calculators out. Unless you're going to win all of your games, you have to get those calculators. But do you believe that we can make it to the round of 16? There's a big chance if we play like this. Even a win against Malawi could be enough, and all the better if we get points against Guinea. Do you believe? Give us your player ratings as well. Alan Yandoro says the guys did their very best. They played for the flag. I think they did give everything there. Very unpredictable, and this new batch of players is what's needed, not these other seasoned, money-hungry big names. Yeah, that's an interesting point there. I think we saw commitment. And talking about Tukunde Benyu, of course, Marvelous Nakamba would have been there in that role if he'd been fit. But I think we saw commitment today, Joel.
No, the commitment was there. We cannot falter the boys for what they did. I think sitting here, I'm very, very proud. Very, very proud to be a Zimbabwean today. Very, very proud to be a former Warrior. Seeing my boys strutting their stuff like this, you know, this is what we want. But like what Howard said, it becomes difficult sometimes to replicate, you know, such games. We played well today. We need to work hard to make sure that we play better than today, because the confidence is now there. We have seen that there is nothing difficult. If we can play like this versus Senegal, why not play better when we go into the next match? But it is now up to the players and their technical staff how they take it, because sometimes if you take this match and say we did well versus Senegal and you rest and think it's just going to happen. It's not going to happen. They need to train harder than what they did for the Senegal match. They need to do better than what they did, because also we've got a team that will be coming and saying, we can fancy our chances versus Zimbabwe. So we need to be at our best. We need to do ×2 of what we did today. If Bruce ran today like what he did, he has to run more than what he did, so that we can beat this next team.
Yeah. I think when you're there, maybe Dixon can explain, because now we are going to be playing Malawi, you're going to be playing Guinea. Is the application going to be the same? What changes when you get to that? Before we close, what changes, Dixon? Because do you look at Malawi and say, oh, okay, this is Malawi, let's just go in there, and you don't put the same effort that you put when you were playing against Senegal?
Yeah, Howard, now for me that's my worrying part now, because when we are playing Senegal, I think everybody is motivated because of the stage of the match and also the players which they're going to play against. And then after playing Senegal, now some of the boys, they can get the complacency now. I also agree with Joel, what he said, that whatever the boys did today, they need also to double it for the next matches, so that we can get a good result, and also avoid the complacency, because that is the tricky moment now.
Yeah, right. We're going to wrap it up now from former Warriors stars Dixon Choto, Joel Lupatla, Howard Musonza, myself, Steve Vickers. Just a couple of player ratings. Ranganai Chinyangarara says 10 out of 10 for Petros Mari. Thaddeus Chinoto says, I give the team 8 out of 10. And a final word, also Douglas Mahonio says, I agree with the Bennu rating of Howard. He didn't show up. And a final word to Eddie Jange, who says, proud to be Zimbabwean, because we came so close to beating Senegal today, or at least holding them to a draw. This coverage was brought to you by Total Energies. We're doing the same thing again for the next match, which is against Guinea.
Total Energies presents the African Football Fans jersey. Visit our service stations or our social networks to find out more.